Welcome to the Founding Voices podcast, and we're already laughing. A series of conversations with humans who showed up before there was a map. I'm Perry, the founder of the Octopus Movement, and I believe that nonlinear thinking is not just a way of creating possibilities, it's a way of being in the world. Each week, I speak with three awesome founding members of our global human mycelium to explore who they are and why they think differently, and how they're shaping a future that cannot be built in straight lines. Well, let's meet today's guest. It's Barbara Vokatis, an innovative professor. Here you go, Barbara. Author of Unshakable, Parenting Through Autism with Love, Courage, and Purpose, and a pioneer in animal assistant education. Boy, are we going to talk about these dogs for sure. But that title list is too small. Barbara connects three worlds most people keep separate. This is where I'm very excited about. Your academic research, your 2 decades of parenting of neurodivergent child, and healing intelligence of animals in classrooms. She doesn't ask, how do we manage difference? She asked, how do we design schools where difference is a strength? Her work shows that inclusion is not policy, people. Kindness is not a slogan, people. And neurodiversity is not a problem to fix, people. Barbara is building classrooms where children thrive, not because they fit the system, because the system finally fits them. Barbara, so welcome to our podcast.
Thank you so much,
How
Pierre.
was that as an introduction?
I love this introduction. I found out a little bit more about myself as well, and which is great. And I agree with all of the above.
You agree with everything that I just said. I
I
love that.
agree with everything you said.
I love the fact that you connect these three worlds together, but most people keep separate. That's so
Mhm.
true, right?
It is separation. When you look at social media, I mean, in the world of academia, professors doing teaching, research, servers, this is an important world, obviously, and important jobs they're doing, but they are, most of the time, they are not really engaging public in what they're doing. Therefore, their research most of the time ends up in peer-reviewed journals at conferences, which is beautiful, incredible, and difficult to do. But that the question is what kind of results we have from this kind of separation, and I come to the conclusion that we don't have a lot of results. And I know it sounds very maybe strange coming from someone from academia, but again, if we have not produced results as far as improving education for so many decades, that means that something's not working well.
Something is off, right? And
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think, if I can be very Dutch and very bold, I think academia, science, it's a bit linear, and we need professors like you that are nonlinear, and that goes directly into my first question. What is the octopus in you, Barbara? What do you consider of your octopus? Why are you so nonlinear as a professor? What's going on inside of your head?
Why am I the way I am? I think that I always was a person who was just interested in new ways, and I was always curious. And I don't want to say that I like to get bored with what I'm doing for too long, but maybe I do as well. But only because I think that human mind is not meant to just do the same thing and in the same way. So when that happens for a long time, something is rebelling inside of me. And then also when you connect it with what you see, and does academia really have such a big influence as far as the improvement of education or not? I mean, we can debate it and talk about it, but also I think that big part of it is also having a neurodivergent kid for almost 2 decades, and you said it beautifully yourself about me, and I see firsthand what happens in education. and I would not say it's pretty, and it's easy to see what's missing, and so there is a lot of reasons for this octopus kind of thinking, and I think finally also, life is a challenge, right? And it should be, I guess, and I'm okay with that. I'm not objecting this, but when you look at octopus, like this animal has ways of protecting itself from predators in all different nuanced ways. I'm kind of like that a little bit. Like, I had to find ways of how do I channel my anger as far as educational system and how it treats neurodivergent children. We have 21st century. We know more about how to teach these children, and it doesn't always translate into actual teaching practice. So I'm trying to find ways to be vocal about it out there. And that is one of the reasons why I also became unconventional professor.
Unconventional professor. That's where the title goes from our episode, I think. Unconventional professor.
Yeah, why not?
And I love that. I need to write it down. But first, the question that I had in mind while listening to you is life is difficult. Would you say that life is difficult? Life is an interesting challenge for all of us, all humans,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
Um, but would you say that for the humans who can release their inner octopus, would life be uh, more a challenge or less a challenge? As keep in mind that we think about the inner octopus as a adaptability as a human being, and being flexible, and everything that has to do with nonlinear thinking. What do you think? Also, looking back at your life in the academic world, is it more difficult or less difficult in the end when you look back at everything?
Uh, I think that hearing these words that you just mentioned, flexibility, being able to adapt, these are features that we human beings should learn. And I think the will become a little bit easier when we embrace these features. They are very, very important, because if you just remained fixed certain ways, you're just going to just um, always be uh, you will always feel like you're rejected, right? Because things will always things will not always go your way. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah,
So you
that's
have
a fact, right? That's a fact
it's
for all
a
of us.
fact. It's a
Yeah,
fact. I mean,
yeah,
you might have this certain idea about yourself, and I know we have a lot of power, right? We can achieve different things, but on that pathway, on this journey, it's never linear. So you will always meet challenges, obstacles. And sometimes these obstacles will help you achieve what you wanted to achieve. Sometimes they will stop you and move you in a different direction. So if you are not considering being adaptable, flexible, you're just going to suffer more. Am I right? I think I am.
I think I am, unless you're going to work in a factory and
Yeah,
you're doing the same thing every day. And that's, of course, where the whole educational system started, right? Is to prepare people to work in a factory. But that's a long time ago, Barbara.
it
What's
is.
going on? Why we always talk about, we have to change the educational system. My God, so many people are talking about it. What is, in your opinion, the reason why it's not really happening? Of course, there are always little shit, but why isn't it really happening? Why are we still stuck in that system back in the days of the industrialization of the world, and we were looking for factory workers? Why can't we let go of this?
And this is very kind of complex question, and every country, and even parts of the countries, they look at education a little bit differently too. But so there are some pockets of unconventional education, and they work. But for overall, the system remains sort of the same. And once in a while, and this is very interesting actually, once in a while there are voices, oh, we have to change it. The kids are not doing well. They're not reading. Their reading level is off. Math is off. Everything's off. We are behind. How others score. Everything's about scores and
Yeah.
scores.
Yeah.
And then there is a change of some sorts, which happens to be exactly the same change that happened 10 years ago or something like that. And the system keeps recycling itself. So the real questions that would really help children and would make education better for them are never really asked, because these changes, these loud changes in education, they come from usually politicians.
Yeah.
So there is an agenda.
Policymakers, right?
Exactly.
Let's control everything. Let's create a system so we know what to expect.
Yeah, there is a little bit control here. For instance, in the New York State, we have Department of Education, State Department of Education. So you can imagine it's just a huge bureaucratic machine. And if you, and I dealt with that system myself in relation to my child. And then you email someone and they don't know the answer. So they have to email like 10 other departments or whatever. So it's like the system that is just like so disconnected because it's just so big, right?
And you're a part of the system, right?
We are part of the system.
This is the real beautiful story about Barbara, in a way, is you're a professor. This is your environment where you work, where
This
you
is a
are
state. This is a state university where I am, and we are also controlled by Department of Education of New York State. Yes, not just public school. Public schools are controlled by them, by this huge office, right? A bunch of offices from Albany, but universities also are managed to a certain extent.
how do they see you as the nonlinear thinker as you are? Are
I have
you
no clue.
sorry?
I have no idea how others see me. I'm too busy to think about these kind of things. How others see me, I don't know. But I think what I'm doing, I mean, civic engagement and engaging people outside your job, outside academia, it is considered service. Like I'm doing service,
Hmm.
so it's different, but we also have different times. So doing civic engagement, engaging others beyond academia, beyond professors and administrators, it is not something new. I know colleagues who do it in different maybe ways. I do what I do. And how others see me, it's an interesting question, but I just don't spend much time dwelling on this. But I just recently had two professors with whom I am speaking, being in the department and having meetings, and they know that I have a podcast. I just recently told them, oh, by the way, I just interviewed an incredible superintendent. Superintendents run school districts in the United States. So, and most of the time there are people, they have important jobs, difficult jobs, complex jobs. But this one superintendent, he has created his own therapy dog programs in the school district. So he is innovative, he's creative, he's cool. And so I mentioned this to two professors. I don't say what I do to everybody who, look at me, I'm doing a podcast. No, I mean, whoever's interested in what I'm doing, I am very happy to share. And they're like, can you share the link with me with this episode?
We want to see that superintendent that is actually cool.
Right. They're like, I want to see it and I want to show it to my students.
Yeah.
So, hey, something is working, right? I'm doing this podcast for over a year. This is my service. This is community service. I would consider it as civic engagement. So I'm not just posting random things on social media.
So you're not just being a rebel, you're doing actually a very good job.
I don't know to what extent I do a good job. I do what I do and I have the amount of time that I have, but I have a passion and mission. So I would consider that I do pretty good job.
So let's talk about animals in the classrooms, and especially the dogs, of course.
Yeah.
It reminds me of my time in Beijing, where my kids went to a international Montessori school that was absolutely the most beautiful school I've ever seen in Beijing. The lady who created that school, I knew her very well. It was incredible. All classrooms had animals, and
Wow.
it was such an amazing school. I wish the whole world could see that school.
Yeah.
I remember leaving that school in Beijing. First of all, leaving Beijing was sad, but leaving that school for my kids, I was crying. I had tears in my eyes that it was so perfect. Now,
Yeah.
tell me about, the animals and the therapy dogs in the classroom. I'm already a big fan. I love my dog. I love animals. I think it's so important. My question is, how does it work, and why are we not doing this on a huge scale all over the world? Because it's so important.
Yeah, thank you so much for this question. Actually, I thought you would have your dog on your lap during
Yeah, that
this
would see
recording.
sleeping at the fireplace. Yeah, I should have get my dog with me.
But it's
She
okay.
is my
Finally,
therapy dog as well. She really supports me in
yeah,
my crazy brain. I have brain damage. I had a brain infection and all kinds of stuff happening. And she, I can tell by her presence if I get a migraine or not and how I'm doing. She responds differently to me, so
yeah.
she knows earlier how I'm doing than myself, which is incredible.
Yeah, because that's what dogs do, and now for children, they do maybe even more, because, as you can imagine, these days there's so many children with all kinds of issues coming to school with anxiety. Uh, I mean, it's no secret that life for families is hard. In the
Mhm.
United States alone, life is also got expensive, right? I mean, anything that's going on in the house and that will create stress in the family is going to absorb it by kids. They're
Mhm.
not just these oblivious little people walking around. They'll just absorb all that tension. And there's other issues too, within families sometimes as well. And we've seen children who have higher level of anxiety, who are not able to learn. So what's good about your lesson, and how incredible teacher you are, and what kind of incredible group of psychologists, counselors you have in school. If the kid has anxiety, little kid, and they can't learn with anxiety, and you're not going to order them to, hey, Johnny, you got to learn, or you're in school.
Yeah,
This is not
here's
work.
English literature. Now park your anxiety for a moment so you can focus
Yeah,
on reading.
pause
Yeah,
your anxiety.
pause the anxiety and read the bloody book, right?
And do it, and do
Yeah.
what I want you
No.
to do, right?
Yeah.
This is not gonna work. And I just mentioned only one thing. And as we know, there are children with autism who have hard time in school. They can be lost. I mean, my kid just today told me, because they are trying a different sort of institution after high school, they will be going to a specialized program, transitional program, and they love this absolutely. And I uh, ask my kid, okay, so what's, like, in a nutshell, the difference between your school and this program school? And Kalina says, I feel safe here.
Hmm.
So you didn't feel really safe in your regular school? Not really. And we can unpack it, we can talk about it, what that really means, right? It's not that there are um, you know people who are dangerous or whatever. That's not about that at
No,
all.
it's a different kind of
It's a
safety, right?
different kind of
Yeah.
safety, totally, right? So we're not going to unpack it right now. But you can only imagine there's so many kids who feel lost. So now you are lost, and that will also create anxiety. I mean, there's no other way. And again, somebody's going to expect that you're going to just sit and learn, right? And so these issues are um, huge issues, and so many of them with children. And I see them too, even though I go to school with my dog only once a week, but I see these issues and I hear
Hmm.
stories from the teacher, as well. So we've seen
So,
children.
Barbara, can I
Yeah,
ask you? Sorry, I want to ask you a practical question immediately.
yeah,
Um, for a school to have a solution with a therapy dog, it necessarily isn't meaning that they need to have a therapy dog, right? You can collaborate with someone who
yeah.
has a therapy dog and goes to that school like once a week, once every 2 weeks,
Yes, there are.
and interact with the kids, right? It's that easy.
Yeah, I mean, this superintendent whom I was talking about, I mentioned earlier, he created his own therapy dog program. So that, that takes some time to create something like that, but it's possible. But there are therapy dog organizations who have volunteers certified with their dogs, and they are ready to go to all kinds of facilities, including schools, uh, to help out, to do whatever possible to be useful and for children, and you don't pay them, so they are available for free,
And they love doing it.
and they love doing it. A
The
lot of
dog and its owner, right?
Yeah, a lot of these people are retired, so they can do it quite a few times a week. Of course, you have to always consider what dogs want to do. Are they okay,
Hmm.
and how many
Yeah.
times? They are not tools, they are elite animals, right?
And
Certified.
they observe the anxiety as well, right?
They do, so they need to consent to these interactions. Like right
Yeah.
now, I don't involve my dog too much because she's already older, so I have to know how much she can do, and when is the time. You have to also understand when is the time to retire. I mean, they don't live so long, so they're not going to work like people for that many years. But these volunteers are ready to go. Some of them sometimes even look for schools, for places to go and visit.
And to do
Schools are
something
not
good.
easy places to go to enter.
Yeah. And it's a dog. I know a founding member in the octopus movement who does therapy with autism, not with dogs, but with another animal,
Mhm,
horses. And
mhm.
it's with a horse, it's absolutely wonderful as well. But I can imagine bringing the horse to school
Not
is
to
a
school. Nobody would allow that. Forget
that's
that.
a different ball game, right? Now it's Monday, it's time for the horse. But I've seen a hospital where they took a horse into a hospital and who would visit patients, which I think it's incredible when I saw that video. It was so beautiful. And horses are so good at that.
Yeah, there is a lot of animals, not just, I mean, mostly dogs, right? But there is
What else? So we have
rabbit,
horses, dogs. What else? What
rabbits, cats,
rabbits, cats?
guinea pigs too. They're smaller animals.
Yeah.
And some of these therapy organization, animal therapy animal organizations, some of them certify different animals, not just dogs. Most of them mostly focus on dogs, but there are other ones. Yeah, that you would have like certified guinea pig, a certified therapy animal. Isn't that cute?
A certified guinea pig. I would
Yeah,
love
and
that.
even from someone who is an incredible person. She runs the organization for people who are interested in this field and work in that field. She even mentioned therapy rats, and I heard that and like, what?
I bet it's possible to have a certified octopus as well.
I wonder.
I was reading this book about an octopus that could recognize people when it was in the aquarium, and some of the people the octopus didn't like that much, and every time that person was in the room, the octopus was spitting water into the light bulbs, so they had all kind of problems with the lights constantly,
Yeah.
and they're big rebels, and they can read people from their tank, their aquarium, through the glass in the water, and it's yeah, they could be therapy animals as well. That would be funny to have the first therapy octopus in a school.
Yeah, but there are also some private people who are trying to do like they have therapy animals who are more outside. So, chickens, right? Horses. We just talked about horses. Therapy
Hmm.
chicken. Here you go. And they are they are willing to have school children come in and interact with these animals. And I think the superintendent whom I interviewed also has this kind of project in mind to start with, like more like these animals who are mostly like outside, so children can interact with them too. But you can imagine, then kids can spend time outside
Outside
with
with
the,
animals. Uh,
yeah.
we had in Brussels with the international school, we had chickens in the forest at
Hmm.
school, and the kids were taking care of the chickens. Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
Considering time, I'm going to bring in some structure. I want to fire a few questions to you, and I want quick answers. um, what is,
Everybody's everything quick. Here we go.
here we go, Barbara. Ready for it? What is the biggest lie school tells children about success? I'm so curious what you think about this.
About success. That success is just having good grades in school.
Yeah,
That is just a really huge lie.
it's a huge lie. Yeah,
It really is. Good
yeah.
grades. I mean, if you don't have good grades and you answer questions not correctly, not exactly according to what the teacher expected, that you are also not, there's something wrong with you.
For me, it sounds you're the most wonderful professor I've ever heard. I wish my kids would have you as a professor, Barbara, because if this is how you see it,
Thank
then
you.
then you're absolutely rock and roll number one professor, in
Yeah,
my
but you can
opinion.
now see how much I sort of suffer seeing all that and being in the in the profession of education. But the
Mhm.
fact that I'm still in it, that means that I am still optimistic.
You can't let it go, right?
I
I've two more questions for you.
Yeah,
Um, what are you curious about in today's world? What is your curiosity today? What's on your mind?
I am curious about really uh, what else we can do and what it would take to improve the system a little bit more. And I'm thinking about educational system. And I think that the key to the improvement is, and I'm curious what we can do about it actually, is to improve experiences from neurodivergent for neurodivergent children. Because if we don't do that, then we really cannot talk about innovation in education, improvement in education. So this is like an aspect. If we could get this better, then we could consider that the whole education is improved. I think if you just look at this one aspect, which is huge, but maybe education needs to focus on one thing, because if they try to focus on multiple aspects, they just can't do anything right. I don't know. So I'm just curious about how we can change something in the system, really. That
And
is,
it's so necessary. I spoke about this in another podcast as well. Here in the Netherlands, Barbara, we have over 75,000 kids not going to school
yeah.
because they have neurodivergent minds. They don't fit into the school system. And here in the Netherlands, it's illegal to homeschool your kids. So these kids are lost. And we have a very tight, weird system in the Netherlands that, that all has to fit and you have to do it all. Otherwise, you cannot do anything.
Yeah.
And
Terrible.
and these kids are, I interviewed a bunch and I made videos about them that I will publish soon. It's ridiculous. And it's especially ridiculous because they're beautiful human beings.
Hmm.
They're, they're very intelligent. That's also always my big question mark.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was interviewing one girl and I said to her, what is your biggest dream? And she said, I want to have a card that allows me to go to university because I just want to study, and she can't
Right.
because she's not in a normal system. But she's super intelligent, and she's always in conversation with her grandpa about philosophy, etc. And she
Hmm.
can't because of the rigid system that cannot be passed. It's crazy.
Yeah. So we just need more, I don't know, more advocacy, more action, um, more
More
things,
everything.
more everything. Really,
More
we have
everything.
and
Yeah.
we also have to engage neurodivergent people who speak out there. They can't be hiding. I'm sorry, but it's about you. We are working for you. We are hoping to make the world better for you. I know it's hard and it's awkward, but you have to. also
You have to
add your
stand up.
part. You
Yeah.
have to add your part, whatever you feel comfortable with. And my kid is slowly feeling more and more comfortable with certain things, but they have to participate in that too, right?
Have to stand up.
Yeah,
Okay.
gotta.
So, final question. You can whisper one sentence into someone's ear, and the whole world will hear it at the same time in their own language. What is the Barbara, the amazing professor whisper gonna be?
I don't know. It's not gonna be like the most incredible sentence, but it would be something like, um, find someone who is different than you, for instance, neurodivergent, but not necessarily, and give him a chance to speak with you and share something cool with you. That's all.
Go to someone who's weird, who's different than you, and have a conversation and be inspired, right?
That's it. I mean,
That's
that's
it.
really it.
I
Mm.
love that.
One sentence you wanted, so
One sentence it is.
yeah,
Thank you for being here, Barbara, not just in this podcast, but also as a founding member of the Octopus movement.
you're
We
welcome.
have created an amazing family of 165 people now and I just did the counting. We're in 25 countries. We have 6 professors. We
Yeah,
have movie directors. We have a lot of writers, a lot of TEDx speakers. And together, we know more than 800,000 people uh, um, on this planet. So our network is almost 1 million people.
it's amazing.
Um,
Yeah,
and we're just starting. Thank you for being here. If you're listening and you
you're
feel a spark, please
cool.
follow it. Nonlinear thinking is not a strategy, it's a kind of love, and it grows when we share it, I think. Thank you, Barbara.
You're welcome, and thank you so much, Perry.
We didn't even talk about your book.
Are we not live anymore, right?
We're still live.
Oh,
We need to do a part two. Can we do a part two? And then we can discuss your book.
sure thing. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Bye bye so much. Thank you so much.